Good. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Rise Grind. And today we're interviewing. I have a special guest, a good friend of mine, Patrick, from the podcast called We Live on a Planet. And in just a moment, I'm going to introduce Patrick. But we are going to get started, and let me just give you a little bit of background on Patrick. Patrick's been podcasting for at least more than a little over 5 years, and he's been a good friend, and he is just really shining. And this guy has had an amazing journey with podcasting, and definitely I call him a friend and highly respected colleague. And I haven't talked to Patrick in a little while, maybe years, but good morning, Patrick. Welcome on in.
Thank you, Jason. It's fun to be here, and it's an honor that you reached out to me and thought of me. So thank you for thinking of me.
Absolutely. Now, Patrick, I'm going to a little bit of and it's kind of like what you do. You always offer a wonderful quote in every one of your shows, and I love your history. Like tip of the day, I do dig that. So what I do is a Daily Stoic, and today's for Daily Stoic. It's titled out of the Daily Stoic book from Ryan Holiday. He says there's always more room to maneuver than you think. And from the great Stoic philosopher Seneca on Tranquility Mind 10.4 or 10.4b says, apply yourself to thinking through difficulties. Hard times can be softened, tight squeezes can be widened, and heavy loads made lighter for those who can apply the right pressure. Now, Ryan says about that quote, have you ever been hopelessly losing a game that suddenly broke wide open, and you won? Remember that time when you thought you were certain to fail the test, but an all-nighter and some luck you managed to eke out the decent score? That hunch you pursued, others would have given up and turned out brilliantly. It is that kind of energy and creativity above all faith to yourself that you need right now. Defeatism won't get you anywhere except defeat, but focus on your entire effort on the little bit of room, the tiny scrap of opportunity. It's your best shot. And aside, Lyndon Johnson once remarked that around the man, there was a feeling if you did everything, you would win everything. Or as Marcus Aurelius put it, it's humanly possible. You can do it. So the question of the day is, what small progress can I make today? And that's the Stoic quote. And Patrick, again, thank you so much for coming into the studio. I've been watching your stuff. I've been listening to your stuff for at least since I've met you on Anchor. So, and I was just watching. A matter of fact, I was watching one of your shorts, I believe, just a little while ago, and I comment on it. And I like your content so much. So, Patrick, what is We Live on a Planet, and what is it all about?
It's funny. Thank you for asking, and I'm glad that we did meet on Anchor, and I do consider you a friend as well. We Live on a Planet is so much to me. It's a phrase that I would use for years before I even thought about making a podcast. I would just kind of throw it out there to friends or family members. I'd be like, "Hey, we live on a planet," and they'd be like, "Yeah, I know." But it just kind of amazed me, that thought of traveling through space, spinning on this ball of whatever. And when I stumbled upon Anchor, I didn't really know what I was doing. And I was like, what am I going to name this podcast? And for some reason, We Live on a Planet just came to me. And We Live on a Planet it's a personal journal with a variety show flair, because what I'll do is I'll talk about my personal journal, my life living in a small city, my daily grinds, my trials and tribulations. And then, like you said, I'll throw in history nuggets and tidbits. I'll go to the History Channel. I'll go to the facts site. Lately, I've been doing Webster's Word of the Day just to try to strengthen my vocabulary. I will, even as so far as at the beginning of my show, give what the temperature is in my city at the current time. Reason being is somebody in 100 years from now is going to stumble upon you and I of what we do. Even though there's so many podcasters out there, our content is here and somebody's going to stumble upon it. And I feel that we're leaving some kind of archive or a legacy for future generations to listen to, just like the nostalgic of the 80s is back. There'll be the nostalgic of the 2020s to 100 years.
I remember one of the first shows, it was about electric cars.
Yeah, it was about self-driving cars.
Yeah, it was.
And it changed so much.
And here we are, 5 years
Yeah,
later,
it is. And it's amazing how far technology has come in the 5 years that I've started podcasting because the technology was already there to make a podcast right through your phone is how Anchor made it, and they made it really easy. And now I'm at the step where in this is same as you, where we're using a system called a Rodecaster Pro 2, which it is an audio system on steroids. It does everything. And it's fun to use. It allows for better audio quality. And I've really enjoyed doing We Live on a Planet for this many years. It's something that I'm surprised that I haven't lost interest in, because usually my personality is that type where I'm all in, and then all of a sudden I kind of get boarded out pretty quick.
Now,
And for me to still stick with this is pretty cool.
I remember in the first season of We Live on a Planet, you were saying kind of the same thing. I don't know how far this is going to go, but I really find it a part of my great mornings, my wonderful time, and it's just something about me. And do I have it right? You're married, right? You have a wonderful wife, great support
my
system.
my anniversary's coming up this month.
Oh, congratulations, my friend! And how many years have you guys?
Thank you. This will be 16 years. We've been together 18.
Wow.
Yeah, it flies by.
And I think I've had.
Yeah, she's been a guest a couple times on my show. I've always been a one-man show here at We Live on a Planet, but I have almost 600 episodes. And while back, I was like, maybe I'll mix it up and have a host. And she did a couple shows with me, and she enjoyed it. She is more of an artist when it comes to like artwork, paintings, and that kind of stuff. And so where I paint with words, she paints with actual paint.
That's awesome. That truly is awesome. What I do. That leads into my next question. You know, how did you how so for our listeners?
Yeah, for a while when I first started We Live on a Planet, I was consistent. I was almost 7 days a week. I was obsessed with it, Jason.
Oh yeah, and
I really was. And Anchor was a different animal, and you had to like keep producing to stay relevant on the charts. And then I decided to go to like 5 days a week, and then I went down to 3 days a week, and now I'm down to 2 days a week. And one of my things that has been an issue with me, and it's my own problem, is my consistency, because with podcasting, any new podcasters that are out there listening, consistency is key. It really is. You want to be consistent for your audience. You have to think about your audience of like watching their favorite, um, and it's Friday night and they tune in and it's about 5 minutes, 8 o'clock, and their favorite sitcom's about to start and it's not on. You're going to all of a sudden, after that happens 2 or 3 times, you're going to start looking for another sitcom. So you have to be consistent. And so I've been trying to get back on my consistency of doing shows. And usually what I'll do is I'll put one out on Sundays, early morning Sundays, and on Thursdays. I was working on one this morning and it was titled Defeat, and the podcast defeated me. And so I decided to walk away from it for the time being because I want podcasting to be an enjoyable experience, not a stressful one.
And I think these are brilliant points. I mean, when I start on Anchor, I was 7 days a week, 5 days a week.
Yeah.
It just, and what I can say an encouragement to you is that it really doesn't matter how often you really go. It's really at the pace that you feel your content is valuable to you first. And it has to come from your heart. It has to, and I do feel that there needs to be a little bit of script, kind of like bullet point. You're a little prepared because a lot of us when we start on Anchor, it was a huge community, and when they changed the platform and then they upgraded and they told us, hey, Spotify's coming, we used to do shares and echoes and things like this, and it used to be like 2 to 5 minutes, and then it went to 30 minutes. And I think that's the beauty of it, is that what you can tell the new content creator, the podcaster, the vlogger, that you don't need hours and hours and hours. You just need what I learned from you, Patrick, and this is why I do short form, is do it small, concise, comfortable, easy, and just slide in. You know, it's just kind of like taking, like when you dive in the water, off a springboard, it's like you just, all right, I'm in it, and I'm good. And then when you need to surface and you're done, so be it, So I think that's, and you've had, I've seen your social media, and I love your diving journey. Number one, I really,
it's been, thank you.
So that's really caught my interest in so many different ways, because I would love to get back to diving. So, yeah, it's definitely, things that you show. One thing I love about your experience is that you're just the regular guy who goes and does interesting things, has a great family, makes a podcast, doesn't make it overcomplicated, overfelt. It's just, it's anyone can listen to it. Even a kid could listen to it. But that's the thing is that it's really made for, I remember I used to listen to it when you were doing 5 days a week or 7 days a week. I was listening to it every morning on my way to work. So,
wow, thank you.
And the community of Anchor, some of us are we still stay in contact. Like I still talk to Maria Humphreys.
Oh yeah. I met a lot of great people through podcasting, and it's a great community, and it's a very creative community. I feel all of us have something. We feel that there's something inside of us. That there's a calling that we have, a message that we want to share. It's not that we're trying to change the world or anything, but if we can get one person one day to maybe hear our message, or yeah, I get it, or yeah, I've done that, and I feel accomplished in what I've done at We Live on a Planet, because I share so much about my life. I share about my sobriety. I share about my mental health struggles. I'm an open book on We Live on a Planet, and that's not always easy for people to do, especially in the social media world we live in right now. Everybody wants to be perfect, and show that perfect little lifestyle that they have when life isn't perfect. There's bumps in the roads and there's curves that are unexpected that are going to come.
Right. And I think that's the beauty of it. What you bring to the table is, you'll say like stay curious. You'll say, you know, don't be so hard on yourself. And
Yeah.
for the journey that you have really made, I've got to give you a lot of credit, you know.
Thank you.
And matter of fact, one of our colleagues, Cybershots, he's in studio right now. He's listening. He says, "You guys sound great." So
Oh, thank you.
thank you. Yeah, and so that's the beautiful thing is that when you make in our anchor days, in my anchor days, I really connected with you and so many wonderful people, and we learned, and it just metamorphosed into some later on. I felt like people start getting competitive and lost connections. And for me, I'm glad I've stayed in contact. I'm glad I see your social media. It's just been a growth. And
Yeah.
I remember when I first started, I was hard charging, um, and so on and so forth. So I think that's one of the things that that I learned early on. Learn to, and this is my quote from my life quote. Greet in hospitality, meet in hospitality, leave in hospitality.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things that's helped me grow as a person and not be so hard charging. Cause I listen to my old stuff and I'm like, wow, who was that guy? you know? So, but it's not really about me. I have a question. Aaron McLaughlin says, do you stand with the LGBTQIA community? What I can tell you is I respect all people of creed, color, and it doesn't matter who you are, as long as you can treat me as a human being, whatever your identity is. I'm not necessarily, I don't discriminate. I don't really do anything. And we all treat each other.
Yeah. I'm totally love is my religion. As Ziggy Marley said it best, love is my religion. That's him, not me. And I'm all about openness. I have a very open mind. I'm at least who am I to judge when every episode that I do finish, it is a Walt Whitman quote that I say, and it is be curious, not judgmental. And that's the life I'm trying to live. I'm curious about life. I'm curious about creatures, mantis, shrimp. I'm curious about you name it. I'm curious, and the last thing I want to do is judge as well. So yeah, I'm totally for human rights. I think is what it really comes down to: human rights.
Right. And that's the thing is the podcast is really people, like I've gone through a journey where I've had people on like stereo and other apps and have goals. Those experiences that are interviewers, that are content creators, and just really enjoy the craft of what we do. And
Yeah,
that was gonna lead into my next question. What has been your biggest joy?
my that's my biggest joy of making the show is there's there's a couple of caveats to that. One of them is the feeling of satisfaction that I've created something because there's a lot of mornings I create my podcast usually early in the morning. I don't sleep much. And so to create something and have it and put it out there is one of the things. But another one is to be able to know that my podcast has reached around this planet is baffling to me. To know that people in Australia, Mali, West Africa, other places have listened to We Live on a Planet is just humbling. It's strange. But I think the biggest thing I've got to is just learning more about myself, about being vulnerable and being that it's okay to be vulnerable and to just try to listen more.
Mm-hmm. I think that's very valuable, especially because there's so many different styles of podcasting. There are people that are well prepared, polished, sponsored, and that's another, I think, great point is that you have managed actually to get some of that just by being you, sponsors. Um,
Yeah.
can
Yeah. I've been
would you care?
fortunate.
Would you care to share? With us, maybe some of the sponsors and the wonderful opportunities you've had.
Yeah. I have monthly subscribers. So they're like almost like a donation. At one time, Pocket Cast, which is a podcast company, had picked me up for over a year. And for well over, I don't know how many years, Anchor itself was sponsoring me. At one time, I was featured right on Anchor's homepage. So when you would turn on the Anchor app, one of the first podcasts that you would see was We Live on a Planet. So I gained a lot of exposure through just natural growth like that. And it kind of grew organically. And then I just kind of started whatever platform Anchor wasn't putting it out on, I put it out myself, like iHeartRadio. I just put it out on iHeartRadio, and then any place that I could put it out there that way. The only place that I think you can't find me is Pandora. Somebody asked me before if I'm on Pandora, and I'm not.
I'm on Pandora, but the only way I've gotten through was going through Podbean. And they go to Audible, and they had a special relationship. Matter of fact, I have a special guest coming in who wants to say hello. Let's see,
Okay.
on the Wisdom
Groovy.
app. So in 3, 2, 1. Good morning, Cybershots. How you doing, brother?
Hey, what's going on? Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you loud and clear. Can you hear him, Patrick?
I cannot.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
That's a bummer because I want to hear from Venus Flytrap.
Johnny Fever.
Yeah, he knows exactly.
He said Johnny Fever, so but yeah, it's one of those things where it's like we've really come a long way. And
yeah,
just hearing that you've gotten sponsored and I think you just your attitude is pretty much, I just appreciate however it comes.
I do. I appreciate any listener. Whenever I end my show, I wish I could talk to Cybershots just to address that. I'm enjoying talking to you, but it'd be fun to have him on too, the three of us. I'm just thankful.
I got another way. Let me see if I can add him three-way. Hey, Cybershots, go ahead and click out of Wisdom, and I'll try to add you a three-way call. So let's see if we can do that. All right.
But yeah, I'm grateful for just one listener. Is the way I look at it.
Right now we've got 19 listeners on According to Wisdom, or 20 now. It's growing.
Well, groovy.
One on YouTube. So this is going to be a great opportunity. So let me see if I can reach out to my good friend, Cybershots. Let's see.
Yeah, see if we can put him on the phone call with us.
Yeah. Hold on one second. Okay.
It doesn't come with a manual.
All right. Well, you Cybershots, can you hear us loud and clear on the phone?
Yeah, no doubt. Can you hear me?
No doubt.
Oh, Patrick, what's going on, man?
How is it going, my friend? It's great to hear your voice.
No doubt, man. I was just kicking back. Jason had hit me up earlier and said he was going to do a show with you. I'm like, oh, cool. This is what's up, man. Because I've been like taking a little break. My laptop's in the shop. I was like, I can kick back and check out two of my favorite podcasters.
Yay! Like an air horn.
Yeah. That definitely appreciate Cyber Shots. You know, I've made shows with him here on Wisdom, even Stereo. Matter of fact, we've done work together with Curtis on Mr. No Show, and we did a show called Blank Canvas. Right now, we're on a
Oh,
break or
cool.
a hiatus, and we've done shows together. So we've still kept those relationship channels open. And that's the amazing thing is that you can meet amazing people and connect
You
with them
can.
personally. So I just think it's a great opportunity, so to speak.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I consider just like I said to you earlier, Jason, Cybershots is a friend of mine, is how I feel about it. I mean,
No doubt.
I love your social media. I love your videos that you do. I think they're fire. They're fun. I think that I like that you're enjoying what you're doing, and it shows, and it makes it fun to watch.
Appreciate that, man.
Yeah. And I've learned from each one of you. So, I mean, Cybershots always has these amazing creative graphics, like you see it on his TikToks. I see it on his Instagram, and it blows me away. And I'm such a busy guy, and I'm like, yeah, I want to do stuff like that. Yeah, that looks cool, you know. But it just, and then like what's eased me down is since my anchor days is literally taking pace with my conversation and being patient with me was probably the biggest growth that I've learned out of all this. I've gone through a lot of hoops, a lot of fire, a lot of different things, growth moments. And I think that's one question I can ask probably both of you is what could you tell new podcasters and content creators about the process of podcasting that has really been a huge tool to you? So Patrick, how would you like to respond to that?
For me, I said it earlier, one of them was consistency, is that if you have to be consistent. You don't have to put them out every day, every week, but if you're going to do at least with your audience once a month, try to, or not try, stand up to that or hold up to what you say you're going to do. Because like I said earlier, of that sitcom type analogy, if you're not going to be there, they're going to find another podcast provider. The other one is, though, be yourself, enjoy yourself, and try not to get over consumed by the numbers, because you're never going to have Joe Rogan numbers as it is. So there's no reason to try to even compare yourself to that.
Right. He has a major production show that has a monster team that just guys from the best of the industry and the equipment. We can't. Yeah. But that doesn't mean that you as a creator. How would you like to? What do you say about
Okay. One thing is, like Patrick said, be yourself. That's the main key. When I first started podcasting, I'm gonna be honest, your whole generation that you radio, and I was like, yo, I basically have my own radio station. And back in 2017, real quick, when I first met you guys, and Patrick was playing some old school rap. I'm like, what the? Yo, I started playing some old school rock. You know what I'm saying? And he just gone from there. He was playing some Scorpio, and I was playing some Scorpion. You know what I'm saying? We just vibe back and forth. And I remember when you was a paralegal before you became a lawyer, and I introduced you to my other co-host. We haven't done a podcast in forever. The professor who's a lawyer, and I still have that phone call, Jason.
I remember that. That was fun.
Have that phone.
That was fun. Yeah.
And you called me and said, I am no longer a paralegal. I'm a lawyer. I still have that phone call, my guy.
Yeah, it's been a journey. That's for sure. And that's the thing is like, you can be one thing and then go do this. And I don't give people legal advice. I don't tell people about my profession too much. I don't get into politics. I don't get into law. When I'm on here, I'm just the person. I'm just Jason. I use 72 the Architect as my stage name. and this is for entertainment and some information. So my responsibility is to be myself and to create content and collaborate with people like guys like yourself. And but then that raises more question, Patrick. So I mean, I primarily wanted it as you in an interview, but Cyber, I also want to consider you too. But what were the obstacles that you guys faced? I mean, that in podcasting that really helped you shape up your person or bettered you for that matter? Was there anything that stood out
You
that really helped you?
you take it first, my friend. I took it first last time.
All right,
I
no
will
problem.
pass the torch to you.
Okay, no worries. I think the best thing that I could tell people about podcasting is being able to listen to your own voice. That was one of the most difficult things that I had to go through. And it didn't sound right. I felt like I felt like I sounded like something else, but I'm sorry, the mic most of the time doesn't lie. And getting through that part and then going through the different stages of equipment from just being on my phone and the headset, the iPhone, and that's it, and then going to a USB mic, eventually getting into a Rodecaster, getting into an XLR microphone, then a webcam, learning how to stage your content. So there's a lot of things, but I would definitely say learning how to listen to my own voice. So
No doubt.
And what about you?
How about you?
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, okay. When I said that I was giving it cyber shots. For me, I don't know. I think we always think that we sound different. I was real critical a lot of times at myself of like, oh no, I said that. And what I would do at the very beginning when I was making a podcast and I didn't have all this fancy equipment and I was just using my phone, I would do a segment and then I would re-listen to it and I'd be like, no, that's not good. And I'd erase it and I would try again and I would try again. And then I finally got to that point where I was like, I don't edit myself in life when I'm speaking with people. I have to just allow myself to let these thoughts come in, say them, and just go with that. And so I'm unscripted, but I do have show notes because if I didn't have show notes, I would be totally off topic completely. So I have like highlighted things of what I'm going to talk about that day. But if I forget or if I don't say something right, I don't stress about it anymore. I just maybe will address it in my next podcast or not address it at all.
Right. And so I've
yeah, and I used to like at the beginning if I would run into problems and maybe the podcast took me 2 or 3 times before I put it out. The very first thing I would say to my audience was, well, I ran into a bunch of technical difficulties this morning, so this is my third time trying it. They don't know that. Yeah. I don't need to be telling them that I'm running into all kinds of issues and everything. Just like put a podcast out there and go and not overthink it too much.
I think that bring to the table. I've seen so many different platforms and people try so hard and then they get discouraged.
Yeah.
So, Cybershots, what's been one of the biggest obstacles that you've learned from here in podcasting?
Oh man, like you said, my voice. And Patrick was the one that suggested that I get a Rodecaster Pro. You know what I'm saying? And I see you guys are over there fancy with the Rodecaster Pro too.
Well, I don't have the Rodecaster 2 picked up yet, but it's
okay.
It's still it's like it's a mad scientist gym. Is really what it is.
No doubt. And I started out. I think I did the first 3 years on my phone, easy. And what that allowed me to do was practice projecting my voice. You know what I'm saying? And getting used to my cadence, learning how to breathe, learning how to talk. And one thing that I learned from both of y'all is structure. You know what I'm saying? It's basically what I do is story time, real life experiences. So boom, I can just run through them. But if I get on a certain topic, like bullet points and things of that nature, I've been working on that. But the main thing is, like I always say, be yourself and take the journey with people who really support you. I mean, I always talk to Patrick. I talk to you as well. And we don't only talk about podcasts, we talk about real life situations. You know what I'm saying? To me, that's the beauty of podcasting.
And I think that's the beautiful thing to connect on, because you learn in life with real people. You don't learn with fictitious characters that we make up. I mean, I'm not going to lie and say I haven't made a fictitious character or faked myself. And I just kind of felt like, and you know what? And I just kind of felt like it just, there's no reason for it, really. Like what I do professionally is completely separate from what I do on here. And that's fair disclosure. And it's none of anyone's business. But me as a person, as a dad, as a philosopher, as a content creator, I'll connect with you only on experience that I know, not what I don't know. And that's the beautiful thing is that when you can podcast and make material that people reasonably feel, they understand. Like Patrick mentioned, about a sobriety, how many, like, it's not putting you on a pedestal, but you're the guy that just, you keep plugging away. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And every day is what it is. And I think I've heard you say, I recall you say, I just take one day at a time. It doesn't matter. I don't judge myself. So
one of the best things I saw, and it's not me, I saw it on a t-shirt or something. It's sobriety is never owned. It's always rented, and rent is due every day.
True.
Wow. Deep. Can I add one more thing to that, Jason?
Absolutely. Go right ahead.
Don't try to force your content. Whatever you have in your mind, put it out there. And one of my best, highest number podcasts, I did it in my car, on my phone, with the window halfway down. Horrible audio, but it's my best number one, highest number podcast to this day. And I can't even listen to it, man. It sounds horrible. I'm like, what is this? You know what I'm saying? But it's my top podcast.
Right.
From 2018. I have not did a podcast to pass that yet.
Wow. Yeah, I think that you're right, Cybershots. I think that a lot of times that we can get too caught up in perfection instead of really content, because whatever you put out that day, that content was really connecting with people, and I think that's what we're all on a journey for, is that connection where we want to connect with others to where they can kind of have that shake their head aha moment where, yeah, been there, know what that's like.
Right.
Yeah, that's a big deal. And this is, I have a wonderful audience on Wisdom right now. It said I've had 27 listeners. And let me tell you, what's great about when I do through Wisdom, I can actually see some of the colleagues that I've come through, and brand new listeners, brand new content creators are coming through the room, and they're learning from people that have, it's been that 5-6 year journey. And when you go through this, there are so many things you never know how you improve until you see the product, until it's done and published. And you see the after effects, and people will let you know. And one thing that I can definitely say about all of this is my other quote is, grow strong roots to bear good fruit. It's just that simple. Let your experience go with it, feed your soul. And people like that. They don't, I just came across, a friend of mine showed me a program. It's called Jasper.ai. And this is a program designed to create your own content for you just by getting to know you. And that scared me. And I was like, no, man, it's always going to come from the noggin. Sorry. It's going to come from this heart. No predisposed, whatever. So that raises, you guys have seen the evolution of the technologies of podcasting. equipment platforms. I mean, remember Anchor 1.0? And it was like, then it switched to 2.0. And then I just left. I was just like, I need to grow in other ways. I can't, I felt like I was a fisherman casting bait out to a flat sea, high heat. No one's biting. I got to move to different seas and learn something more. And I just accepted that. So
I got a quick comment about that.
Go ahead.
Okay. I didn't know if you hear me. One thing that I like about the transition from, I think it was 1.0 to 2.0, when you had 24-hour podcast, like Patrick said, he has like almost 600. No, my friend. Remember the 24-hour day? You're putting out a lot of work in that content alone. So if you have well over 1,000 episodes, easy.
That's true. And that's true when you put it in that perspective. Because there was days I was pushing that red button more than once.
I used to love that idea.
Yeah.
That was it.
Yeah. It's scary to do that. It's scary to do that. Even there's times, even though I had this many episodes, right before I knew I was coming out to talk to you, those anxieties come up because you're like, okay, I'm going to be talking, I have to, and then all of a sudden I'm like, no, wait a minute, yourself, you're talking to a friend, enjoy the conversation, enjoy the process, and I think that often we don't live in the moment, and that we live in the past or we live in the future. And right now, all I have is 12:49 talking to you, talking to you two. I don't have 12:50 yet. I don't have 12:30. That's already, you know what I mean? All I have is right now. And when I concentrate on that, it's easier for me to live with less anxieties and less stress, I guess.
And so that's a brilliant question.
Yeah. Well,
I guess why I have day before a day. Sometimes I'm on the road and stuff coming to my mind, and I want to talk about. And when I do this, on this, I get into the like microphone, I got my broadcast studio. Like I said, I've got my math I haven't even set it up all the way. But that's the thing is, my anxiety is out of control. And people appreciate what I'm doing. And sometimes the audio is junk, and you just have to. What do you guys say about that when equipment is like not working the way you want it to? And how do you?
Man. For me, I'm gonna go right quick, Patrick. Hold on 1 second, sir. For me, like going live on strictly audio, you know what I'm saying? That's really not my thing. Y'all know I'm animated. Like on live, instead of wisdom, I might go to click. You know what I'm saying? The fact that they don't have the video. I could have my green screen. I could have my thing, you know what I'm saying? And I want you to really see the vision that I have in my head. I want to bring it to life. You know what I'm saying? I mean, literally, I want you to see it because we're all Gen X here. You know what I'm saying? This technology is amazing. We thought about this when we were kids, but the reality of it is it was only in our mind. You know what I'm saying? But now we can literally bring that vision to life and share it.
And like Patrick said, that legacy and you know, years prior to my dad and his brothers and sisters now have a place they can go listen to her voice anytime they want. They just have to connect their phone, go to the app, and they can hear their mom's voice, well, along with mine. But
I remember that, man. That was awesome.
Yeah, and I remember at the funeral that it made everyone cry. It truly, like, I think on that episode, I had like 5,000 listens to it, and I looked at the analytics and I was, is that right? And it actually inspired other people to do the same, with their elders, the video or audio. It can take you to a lot of amazing spaces. And this is where I'm going to have to start bringing the show to a close, because I do have an appointment in just a little bit, but I would like to do a part 2 of this, Patrick, on a scheduled date, and I'd love to bring you back. And for those listeners out there, you can find it on YouTube, Wisdom, Twitch, Twitter Spaces. It's available. And Patrick, could you share with people how they can find your podcast and where do you produce from?
Yes, the easiest way to find me is to go to my website. My website's really easy to remember. It's WLOAP.com. And from there, you can find a lot of my past episodes. You can find my social media landing pages, but it's WLOAP.com, which is where we live on a planet. I thought that was always I'm going to share your social media. I always do a fair shot. How do people want to get hold of you or listen to you?
Yeah, no doubt. Here on Wisdom, man, just click my profile and I think the audio part. And if not, you want to see some videos, follow me on TikTok at Cybershot. Yeah.
And for all my Wisdom, you can find me all one word. That was posted. Patrick, thank you so much for coming on board. I definitely appreciate you. And I look forward to, I'll contact you for a part 2. And hopefully this has been fun for you. And I'd love to have you as a guest.
No doubt.
I really enjoyed it, and I enjoyed being able to talk to Cybershots as well.
Yeah,
no doubt, man.
I thought it'd definitely be a treat. Anyhow, ladies and gentlemen, we'll see you all next time on Rise and Grind, Monday mornings, usually between 7 and 8 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard, and 9 a.m. Mountain Central. I believe it's 3 o'clock GMT. So for my UK listeners, thank you so much. You can catch any of these guys that I've been speaking to. Patrick from We Live on a Planet. That's www.WLOAP. Cybershots, it's Cybershots all one, or Digital Vibes on Instagram. So you can find him there. So thank you guys. We'll see you all next time.